I want to cut the Kaitos, and I think I just want to move 2 Trespassers to the main if we're just playing against this much Boros and like Domain Zoo. I feel like that's kind of an easy swap. I feel like the rest of the shell looked pretty good. Maybe this deck needs a Deluge or 2 in the board. Yeah, I think I like the idea now, especially now that things are opening up a little bit. Although sideboarding is going to be like a little bit weird too. I think maybe I'll go down a snare because like this is part of my sideboard plan already. I don't want to be too overboarded. I don't think I want to play any more 3s. I wish there was like a 2-mana like Pyroclasm style card you could play in black. Change Shadow for Tamiyo. We're playing 4 Stubborn Denials. This is definitely a Shadow deck, not a Tamiyo deck. Yeah, maybe Tamiyo, like 2 Tamiyos could still be good here. Oh, Tamiyo's really good with Street Wraith, actually. Okay. Tamiyo also is just so nice on the mana curve as well. Are the frogs that good? Please look at your comment. Are the frogs that good? look at what you just wrote, and then reassess. Okay, so I think we could maybe go down. I feel like I like Tamiyo. Like we can flip Tamiyo turn 1 with Street Wraith. Is that okay? Needed. Well, I think if we're gonna it's a kind of a flex buy. I agree cutting it for when we bring in all these Tamiyos. Can this deck beat Chalice on 1? Well, we have like 10 main deck answers to it, but if it resolves, we're going to have a hard time. So I could cut a Cling to Dust, potentially. I could cut the first Bloodchief Thirst, also. Wait, do I still have that in? No, those are just in the side. Okay, so I guess let's just cut this. No, I don't like to play on Earth when I don't have 3-mana creatures, basically, ever. Alright, so I think if I'm cutting the Cling, I just want to play the 4th Trespasser in the yard. Basim be an option. Basim is like it's just a very different deck. You need to play Mox Amber, you need to play Mox Opal, you need to play Emery. It's just like a completely different deck. With Dark Confidant's kind of a sick option. I think I've been wanting to play a Tamiyo Street Wraith deck for a long time. Like I kind of forgot about that desire of mine. So 3 Tamiyos to keep the Cling. I think I want to start off with 4 Tamiyos. I mean Tamiyo's just very good, but Tamiyo also like Tamiyo Street Wraith is so exciting to me that I think I just want to try to maximize that a little bit. Maybe don't need the Shadow. Well, if we want to play 4 main deck stubs, we need the Death Shadow. Shadow's good in this deck. Like, I've been shit-talking Shadow for, like, weeks and weeks now. But Shadow's good in this deck. Yeah, Trespasser's getting against Boros, Prowess, Burn, Domain Zoo, just all the Flage decks. And you could even, like, board it in against, like, Control if you need to cut your Fatal Pushes. I explored the lightning and burn idea yet. Not yet. I do think like it's a lot worse than I thought it was because I thought that if your lightning died, if you Arena of Gloried it, you still got your combat damage or your combat steps with it, but that ended up not being the case. So I think I'm gonna lead on the Cecil here. So that ended up not being the case. It ended up being worse than I thought it was. We're gonna play it in a Mardu Sephiroth energy shell later. You don't like Poison the Waters. No. Like the -1/-1 effects are like I need my sweepers to be able to kill a Johnny and Guide of Souls. It's not really negotiable for me. Can they flip a Bauble? Getting 1 life is kind of a number though. It's just so okay. It's like not a big deal, I think. Like the life link with Cecil and Shadow has not seemed like a problem either. Hopefully we don't get mooned, I guess. Alright, so we get to go Thoughtseize. Let's Thoughtseize first. Another flame, a Screaming Nemesis. Main deck Screaming Nemesis is nuts. So, yeah, we'll just take the heat. I think I actually just push here. Just push. And this makes this a 4/5, and it flips the Cecil, so their bolts are kind of useless. Lightning sees the play. No, it's just it only works the turn you hit. It's worded weird because it doesn't say till end of turn. It says until your next turn, which is weird. But that doesn't mean. But once your next turn starts, it ends. So, like you can't like Arena of Glory your lightning, let it die, and then just like Lava Spike deal 6, Lava Spike deal 6, which is what I thought you could do. I do think you could still have like a lightning plus Flage Arena of Glory build of burn potentially, but I haven't sat down to work on it yet. Should you have saved for the fetch revolt to kill Nemesis? I don't think so. I think the upside of buffing the Goyf is really big, and I do not think the Screaming Nemesis matters at all. It does work. You can hold a burn during your opponent's turn. That's technically true, but I'm not talking about games where you get to go like Arena of Glory Lightning, hold up 2 extra mana Lightning Bolt. That's 5 mana in your burn deck. Like, how do you have that many cards in your hand? How do you have that much mana? It's not like a realistic sequence of events. Okay, so they kill the Nethergoyf. They leave me with my big old life linker. If they drew Unholy Heat, and we get Thoughtseize Bug, that's so bad, but I don't think they have it. Alright, so we'll play a Frog. If they bolt it, we'll discard our last 2 cards. Seal of Fire, maybe. Seal of Fire might be good, yeah. I don't think... to me, that doesn't sound like a bad inclusion, but... it also doesn't seem like... It changes that much. How do you feel about Hammer Time with Robin? We played Hammer Time yesterday, went pretty well. Robin was not included. So Hammer has so many lines now that are good and aggressive and powerful that don't involve Colossus Hammer. You have your Quarry Steelcutter draws, you have your Cassandra draws, you have your Cloud Buster Sword draws. That it's in my opinion, you just don't want to. You don't want to play like a card that's kind of only good with Hammer, and if you get to untap with it, like it's just so slow. But that doesn't mean it's not like a fine option. And okay, good they don't have another red man up to bolt my Cecil. It doesn't seem like a terrible option, but it does seem like just not how I am interested in building the archetype at all. Okay, so I'm going to sell a Marsh Flats, one of the instants, one of the creatures, and then I have 1 sorcery, 1 artifact. We have more sorceries in the deck, so I'll exile that. Cloudbuster Sword is actually modern playable. Yeah, I mean Cloud, we've been having success with Hammer in Modern. Cloud is better than Stoneforge Mystic. Buster Sword was also good yesterday too. I think especially in that build. So it's definitely nice. Cloud Hammer, I was thinking more of Blue White Stoneblade with Cloud. I'm interested in trying Blue White Stoneblade with Cloud also. I do think that like that kind of build can work. The thing is you also need to play Quarry Steelcutter. You need to play Quarry Steelcutter. So Jeskai Cloudblade is something I want to do. I did feel like I needed to have my due diligence first and play the Hammer build, especially because we spent so much time on it like last season. Probably don't want the full 4 of these. I'm not very smart. How is Cloud better than Stoneforge and Hammer? So especially with the 0 mana equips. If you put a Quarry Steelcutter on it, if you trigger the Steelcutter, you get 2 monks. If you put a Spear of Leonidas, which is a very like Cassandra Spear has been so good, but you get to choose 2 modes, and if you put Buster Sword, you get 2 modes also. So I think I'm gonna go. Let's just go like -2 push, +2 Trespasser, and click the submit button. Let's mulligan this. Okay, keeping this one. Let's put back the second stub. I have not worked on the turns deck recently, no. Especially the new 1-drop target equip any artifact. I don't understand people's fascination with that card. Because it's like the red one, the Magnetic Theft, like that card does not see that card does not see any play. And like that card is worse than ooh. Oh, why couldn't I have second Street Wraith? I think I would want to lead on the Goyf still. Although yeah, if I had this Tamiyo earlier, we probably would try to flip it just for 0 mana next turn. It's like I would play Forge Anew, the new red equipper, the new red creature equipper that people keep talking about. Aid Hammer before I'd play Magnetic Theft. Theft is in a better color, like red is better than blue in Hammer, so I just don't really know how people are expecting that card to see any play. Maybe I'm missing something. If I had drawn a blue source, I would have played Tamiyo, probably, but we'll just play the Frog, and then hope we don't get snared or scolded. If only you could discard spells on the stack to make your Frog big enough to dodge. Stubborn Denial. Are talking about the new red 2-drop, yeah. Like that card is better than Magnetic Theft in my opinion. I just but also Theft is better than this new blue equipper because this blue is the better color. So just a lot of like I don't get the appeal of that card. I guess we'll lead on Tamiyo as like bait for another scolding. What's the new blue equipper called? I don't know. It's called Not Playable in Modern. Who cares? What if they have another Drake here? That'd be cool. Do I just ignore this? Could double discard and block. I think I'm just gonna take 3. It's a little bit risky, but seems okay. I discard this Tamiyo. No, I might also play it and block the Nemesis. I think that's likely enough that we'll not do that here. So I drew a stub. Okay, I guess I technically have double stub up because I can discard 1. Maybe flip Tamiyo, play Tamiyo is better because then the 03 blocks the 3/3. I think I'm just gonna do this though. So I can stub, they pay 1, then I stub again. Or I can go discard and then stub. I think I like discard stub more. The 03 blocks the 2/3 to time optics. Yeah, I mean, I know, I just said that. Maybe some delay there. I assume the conflict between Flip Cecil and Shadow's worth it. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a big deal so far. Yeah, Sven is someone who usually likes to play a lot of cards like this, get really kind of experimental. So I guess a heat on this Goyf could be a blowout. Tamiyo does not give the Planeswalker type in the yard, no. I guess they do heat. And then I assume they pay. Dead to land heat, I guess. There's a land. Okay, not Unholy Heated yet. Oh, the Bauble's just for Goyf. I mean, yeah, like it's like when you play DRC and Is It Murktide, like you have to play 4 Mishra's Bauble. It's kind of the same dynamic. Like if you have Nethergoyf in your deck, you probably need to have 4 copies of. Okay, I think we're gonna go Thoughtseize Tamiyo here. You probably need to have 4 copies of Bauble in your deck. It's just the same formula for the Goyf, I think. Oh no, I meant to play Tamiyo instead. I meant to play Tamiyo instead of the Cecil. Top deck generation. Okay. This could be bad. They reveal another copy of Screaming Nemesis, which kills me. And it would not have killed me if I had played the Tamiyo. So I meant to play the Tamiyo. Walking and talking. Game 3 on the play. Probably just actually do want the rest of these Fatal Pushes. I didn't think they'd be leaving in all these Screaming Nemesis against me. Oh yeah, Bubble's also good with Tamiyo. That's true. That's true. All right, on the play. All right, so this hand does flip Cecil on turn 2. It could be better to just Thoughtseize into Frog. I'm definitely going to click the keep button. 0 Final Fantasy cards in stack retracted sub. We have 4 Cecils. Please subscribe again, Repro, with the 12 months. You think I'm playing no Final Fantasy cards? There's one in my hand right here. Smooch with the 49 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So Tamiyo seems kind of interesting with the Wraith. Not a fan of Kaito. We had Kaito in our first draft. It was like unbelievably bad, and I'm yet again shocked that people play that card, I guess. Yeah, so let's go Cecil this turn with the intention to go Tamiyo, Thoughtseize, Wraith, flip Cecil next turn. What do you do against Chalice of the Void? Well, you have Snare, Stub, Thoughtseize, and Psychic Frog. Is a list with Opal and Amber, a bunch of Boros Legends. Well, there's just not a bunch of good Boros Legends to play. There's now Cloud, but I don't think Amber is so good that you want to play like a ton of Ragavans and stuff. Okay, we'll cycle the Wraith first. Drawing another Wraith would be so sick. Just flip the Tamiyo right now. I think I'm taking the heat. We can play around the Scolding, I think. I was just blown out by Affinity deck with Astrologian's Planeswhere. That shit's crazy. Yeah, so there was someone who said that it was crazy yesterday. Definitely interesting. Not something I was expecting to be like really impactful. So they're going to have Snap Flare available next turn if they flare and I stub back. Is that okay? I think that's probably okay. They do still have Delirium. They draw a card with the Bauble. They're up to 3. One of them is a Stern Scolding. The other cards are Mystery. Let me see what we draw off the Clue. Okay, so we get to flip the Tamiyo. Don't think that we are super interested in leaving Cecil back to protect the Tamiyo here. Nice that the Cecil can protect the Tamiyo. We have a Stub in the yard and a Thoughtseize we could pick up. Like they do have the Stern Scolding we need to think about. They found a Flame of Anor, which is very good. And then I would assume that they attack. Yes. Yeah, you can have a Cecil front side and back side. I think it's better to Thoughtseize here than Stub. Okay. Well, I like seeing that hand. Red Black Cecil with Detective's Phoenix could be fun. Yeah, it could be. Like the overlap with Street Wraith's definitely real. Top card, Screaming Nemesis. Kind of interesting against the Cecil, right? Where if they hit me with it here, I get to flip it. I also can just block, and I can block Death Touch, trade with the Nemesis, push the Shadow, or push the Snapcaster, and then they don't have a Wizard in play. So kind of an interesting decision point. I think they're probably just going to leave this back to block, though. I think Death Shadow would be good in the deck. We have 4 Death Shadow in this deck. Interesting having flip Cecil means it's hard to flip the second Legend Rule. That's true. I do like that it kind of like blocks on Death Touch. I'm going to not block here. I'm gonna Fatal Push the Snapcaster so that way either of my creatures next turn can present lethal. It only flips if it survives. I mean, it doesn't. If it's dead, it's how is it gonna transform? Is Bowmaster not great? It's okay. I wouldn't say that it's great. No, it hasn't been like a stellar modern card since they banned the One Ring. But it is like fine. It's like good against Boros. It's it's okay. It's playable. But it says all land. Brutal. Yeah, the Tamiyos definitely feel like a good fit. Okay, let's keep this hand. Thank goodness Chalice is very popular. Yeah, we do have a lot of 1-mana answers to deal with the Chalice. But yeah, it's like you don't really see that card very often right now. Yeah, it does seem like Cecil is a good modern card. This is the main thing we're trying to test here. Yeah, you can check out my Lightning Shell. I think we're going to play it after this league. It's in the Mox field, of course. Tamiyo, flip, Tamiyo, damn it. So I think I can wait on the... Yeah, I think I'm just going to go Fatal Push, hold up Stub for this turn. Well, maybe it is just too big a problem if they have a Johnny. So I'll Thoughtseize, I guess. Almost feels like you're playing too many lands. We have 18 lands. It's like that's like the bare minimum, I think. They drew a second Ocelot Pride. It's interesting. So we drew a land, which is bad. Is Cascade dead in Modern for good? Living In has been like a good deck in Modern for like the last few weeks. Yeah, Cecil's, I agree, has been looking good. It's a bit awkward that if I block an Ocelot Pride, it does transform here. All right, let me see what I'm drawing. I probably just want to save the stub for the Fable, but if there's like another stub on top or a Thoughtseize, then we'll probably stub back. Yeah, giving them 2 tokens is tough, but we know they have the Fable in their hand. I think it's more important. I can just leave this back to block for a bit maybe, or I could draw another creature and I can keep attacking. A creature is so much better than a Fatal Push here. I think I'm shuffling it. Yeah, much better. Well, they had 1 land, 1 Fable before they drew for turn. They surveilled a mountain into the yard. They're thinking about doing something else maybe. This is an interesting something else. I like the play. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They get double the treasure tokens too if I don't block the Ragavan. Okay, great. So big draw step for me. I think I'm saving this in hand for a frog. I mean, fetching to thin is pretty real with only 18 lands too. Yeah, I mean, if they chose dash no attack last turn, the thing is, I think they did have a good attack. I'm gonna attack anyways here. Also, if I play my land, they're like a little bit more likely to they're a little bit more likely to play the Fable, I think. So then there's Ragavan mystery card. There's Kitty's Blessing. Probably just misclicked. It seemed intentional that they chose not to attack. I think they reevaluate. I think it was a fine attack though. I think they should have attacked. But I agree it was a weird spot. All right, so here's a slightly awkward Death Shadow. Although I think we can just attack with the Goyf and then play the Shadow and have pretty good blocks. I guess We'll have to do some math as far as like lifelink and blocking with shadow goes, but it's fine. If y'all had drawn Street Wraith, would you have cast Street Wraith here? I don't know. Zab with the 27 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully they don't top deck too good over here. They've drawn a spell. Is it Draven Charm, Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Ajani, Static Prison, Voice of Victory. Okay, of all of the ones that they could have had, this is probably like the least threatening, although my denial is now locked. Yeah, it does seem like I still have a solid enough attack with this Goyf. This situation is why I initially dismissed Eastern Shami was okay. I think it's fine. It hasn't really seemed like enough of a tension. Like it just seems like you can like think about your sequencing and move around it. Them drawing Seasoned Pyromancer is bad for me. Yeah, all right, well. Hold Wraith and cycle to instep. It's like you would definitely cycle main phase, so you could play a proactive spell. All right, well, we're bringing a lot of cards. Got a new plan in general here. So we're going to cut the Thoughtseizes. We need to make 2 more cuts here. The Cecils have been pretty good. I think I'm going to cut a Bauble and a Shadow. Let's try that. All right, I'm on the play here. How have the Kaitos been? The Kaitos have been cut. I guess did I not update the Mox field? Okay, sorry, I thought the Mox field was up to date. Kaitos were like unbelievably bad. It's like I was shocked how bad they were. Rather have Stubborn Denial than 4th Bauble. Yeah, I think the denials are good. But like maybe the 4th Bauble is better than the fourth one. It could be kind of close. Thought to 19th landed the board for when you board in the higher curve. That could be nice. I kind of think that kind of plan is probably a little underexplored. I thought how bad they were was believable. Yeah, I guess so. I had never played with them. I'd played against them a good amount, and I just kind of thought that they would be better based on how people talked about them, but I was unimpressed. Play a Frog here. I think I want to play Nethergoyf and hold up a mana. No stub on the guide. Counter target non-creature spell. Very classic tempo game here. Tempo. Do I want the 4th Shadow on the draw? I think I want to go -1 Tamiyo, +1 Shadow on the draw. Drawing double Tamiyo on the draw can be kind of bad. Drawing double Shadow can catch you up. Cecil's been looking pretty good. Also, I think Esther grabbed my phone instead of hers. I need to check an email. Hold on. Sorry about that. We're on the draw. This basic island's really awkward. This matchup is also just quite hard to take a mulligan in, so I think I need to keep. Did someone make a Luris joke? I mean, I think a lot of musing about how insane Luris would be and why you could never unban Luris. Doesn't flip side of Cecil have lifelink when in the hurt Death Shadow deck? It's just not that big a deal. It's like I say this basically every time I talk about Death Shadow. Like in 2014, 2015, 2016, or I guess it was probably 16, 17 when like Death Shadow was really like emerging on the scene, and Death Shadow was this card that saw a lot of play in Modern. It was so good because like Fatal Push hadn't been printed yet, I believe, or Maybe I'm misremembering, but it was so good because it was really resilient. It was a really resilient threat. It was very hard to deal with, and it was just gigantic and large and in charge. This is 2025, and Death Shadow is not the same card that it used to be. It's just kind of another threat in decks like this. Sometimes it's like a fringe card that you can play occasionally. It's like you're just not all in on this. You just play it and it trades for something most of the time. And usually how it works is like you just trade creatures, and you have like one thing that sticks. Yeah, did you take my phone? I put your phone up there. Okay, I put yours up there. I don't know where mine is. Solitude turned that card into a liability. So like it's not Solitude. Like people always say Solitude killed Shadow, but Solitude and Shadow coexisted for a while when it was the banning of Lurrus that killed Shadow. Like Lurrus Shadow was a playable modern deck for like quite some time.
You had it this morning. You were trying to.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't need it right now. It's fine. All right, get embarrassed again. You could phrase it that way. It's more like resolving Death Shadow isn't like one mana win the game. It's not. This isn't your plan A. This is just like another. It's just like you're playing like a wild Nacatl. You know, you're playing it like just a big one mana creature. That is not your plan A. It's like it's not any more of a threat in your deck than Nethergoyf is, than Cecil is, than Psychic Frog is. It's just like when you play creatures like this, like. They either hit your opponent really hard or they die, and then you keep moving. And I don't think the lifelink Cecil thing really conflicts with that too much. Dade with the 53. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, we do have a Mardu deck on the docket. We're going to be playing it after this, I think. The other thing is that Boros is the new giant meeting a mid-range deck that can beat up on shadow decks. I think that's accurate, yeah. Our first two matches, we beat Domain Zoo, then we beat Boros, and then I think we played against Boros 4 more times, which is pretty gross. Main deck Tormod's Crypt, so this is going to be like a Mox Opal, Emery, Tamiyo deck, I guess. So let's flip the Cecil. We might just play the Tamiyo instead. Lifelink is a problem here this turn. Well, I'll take the only good card, I guess. Red Black Cecil with Phoenix. Looks pretty fun. Probably want some Croxes in here with all like the discard effects and the Arena of Glories. Like I know Crox is not Flage, but Arena Crox has been something we have had success with. So we're up a game against. Is it VV? Sudden Edict might be pretty good against VV. I guess it's pretty bad against Steel Cutter though. You have these 6 cards to deal with Steel Cutter. I might just run it back. Yeah. Yeah, I would play a Croxer too in the 75. I'm not sure over what. Looks pretty fine. I drafted The Rock. You just look at the green cards and you're like, these sure are we sure are playing 2 Green Sun, 2 Tarmogoyf, 1 Questing Beast, 1 Grist. Like this is I love how we're playing like 3 like kind of crap, or like I guess Grist is pretty bad, but we'll say it counts. But we're playing Liberator, Ooze, and Questing Beast, 3 like awful Green Sun targets and only 2 Green Suns. I don't know, y'all. You must play Street Wraith with Cecil. See, that's just mandatory. You must play. You have to hear the Thoughtseizes. I don't know that like There's just not a good reason to be black-green, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case. So I think I need to be able to snare a steel cutter. Are you able to easily keep both sides of Cecil on the board? Not easily. It has happened a couple times that we've kept it. The thing about like legendary creatures in Modern though is it's like you play 4 Tamiyo really often. You know, you play 4 Ragavan really often. It's just like your 1 mana creatures are going to die. They are you do not get attached to them. They are dead. So it's like, and because this is the case, I don't think you need to worry so much about. Oh, the Saga's a bother. Because your 1 mana creatures are doomed, they're going to die. It's just kind of usually good to play 4 of them, so you can just play a second once it dies. We've also won games with Questing Beast in Modern, but I'm not a big believer of that card. Well, 3 black. I really think Death Shadow's time is up in Modern, y'all. I hate to say it. I don't see why we're twisting ourselves into weird shapes to effectively cast bad Nethergoyf. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, I mean, I agree that Death Shadow is not super good in Modern anymore. The reason we're doing it is because a new powerful card got printed that goes into Death Shadow Shell and lets you play 4 stubs pretty easily. I feel like this is worth testing. Why they use Repeal. So Repeal is kind of like a 0 mana, 2 triggers for VV. You could think of it that way. All right, I think I'm going to hope to hit a 4th type off my Surveil here. Okay, player Death Toucher. Yeah, maybe Stalker's better than Death Shadow. But like, I don't think it's like Death Shadow's fault that this deck, if this deck isn't good. It's like, I think it's a fine card to play in the shell, and it's like at the end of the day, it's a 1 mana big creature, and you used to be able to just put all of your hopes and all of your dreams into a Death Shadow, and you can't anymore. And that's okay. It's okay that the Death Shadow doesn't solo like it used to be, but sometimes it could be a fine role player. Any tips for learning OBS and setting your own stream? I mean, just watch some YouTube videos. It's a lot simpler than you think. Don't be intimidated. Well, playing Cecil as your 1-drop in Domain Zoo? Well, you need to play Street Wraith and Thoughtseize, I think, so you can flip it turn 2. Starting to think less of Cecil as a shadow card and more as an aggressive 1-drop on double fetch, double shock black decks. Maybe. But like double shock, double fetch black shock decks, it's like... maybe I'm just doing a bad job articulating myself. Like, yes, that's what this deck is. It's a Street Wraith. Like, Cecil isn't going into a Shadow deck. Shadow is going into a Cecil deck. Cecil is a new, powerful, interesting card that makes you want to play Thoughtseize. It makes you want to play Street Wraith and Nethergoyf and Tamiyo and like this really cheap down low mana curve strategy. That's what we're doing here. We're already here. We already are playing 4 Stubborn Denials. We're already playing 4 Thoughtseize. We're already playing 4 Street Wraith. We're already dealing ourselves a lot of damage. We can play Death Shadow in this strategy. Does that make sense? Like I feel like I've said this in about every way possible at this point. This does grow the Goyfs. Mishra's Bauble lethal, I guess. Just hit tiny roadblocks, get overwhelmed. Yeah, I get it. It's a lot easier than you think. You just have to, enjoy setting it up is going to be the big thing. Have fun with it. I'd struggle not playing Mockingbird in the Shadow Goyf deck. I mean, this is a legendary card, so it's like... It's tough. Do you like the new Astrologians Planesphare equipment? People are saying that it's performing really well. I have not seen it in action yet. I am interested to see it in action. There's a lot to get to, and I'd be open to working on that one. think if I hate my top card, I can surveil it away. Don't hate that one. Nice. Okay, so these fatal pushes will be pretty dead, but this might be a fun matchup. All right, they're down to 16. We'd love for them to like tap out for a 3-mana Planeswalker next turn. If they play another tune, I'll snap off the stub because that gives me Delirium for Nethergoyf to be 4 power. So a Wraith or a Fetch Land or a Thoughtseize would be great for the Shadow. Don't draw any of those. Let's see if we can surveil a 4th type into the yard. We can. So is it better to play a second Goyf or is it better to hold up double stub? Second Goyf is very bad against the card Supreme Verdict. I think they probably counterspell back, but I think we're gonna play classic Protect the Queen. Okay, then they Solitude Pitch Wrath of Skies. Is bad against my Shadow, of course, or good against my Shadows. They're not going to ban Saga because I, for one, am not going to welcome a new Frog Overlord. Frog is so far. Psychic Frog Dimir is like just never going to be a boogeyman deck in Modern, in my opinion. Well, I'd love to be wrong about that. One of the best Modern formats we've ever had was when Is It Murktide was the best deck in the format, and it was so beatable. I think it was very fun to play against, but like so many brews could beat it. It was just awesome, and everyone online was complaining about it with like intense fervor. It was, and like for me, that was an environment where I felt like I was really thriving. Danik with the 5 years. Let's go. Glad you're still liking the stream after all this time. And Grossbill with the 14 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So like if we ever just return to that era where like people are like we're like Psychic Frog, Murktide, Oculus is like the tier 1. If that's the deck, people are always going to be complaining about. Oh no, Basic Island. If that's the deck people are complaining about online, that's great for us. It's really good news. That's a sign of a great Modern format when people are complaining about like the tempo deck in the format. I'll concede to a Solitude. Okay, so we're going to cut all of our Fatal Pushes post-board. Do we have any other like super duper dead cards? Not really. So yeah, I think it's maybe I guess the first Consign for Solitude triggers is good. Maybe even 2 copies. It doesn't hit like Solitude is pretty good against us, and they don't do a great job evoking it. So maybe we just do something like this. Could have pushed our own Goyf down to gain life. In that spot, there's a Teferi in play, so I can't respond. I'm playing Sudden Edict, not Shieldred's Edict. I find it pretty important to be able to edict a Frog or a Murktide or a Scion of Draco without it being counterspelled. But because of that, that means I'm not playing the one that can get Planeswalkers. Why not all 4 Consigns? Well, you don't want to bring a 4 of a card that's only good against 4 cards in your opponent's deck. You know what I mean? Like you want that ratio to be a little bit better, if that makes sense. I think against the Galvanic Discharge deck, we're casting this Frog here. I remember that comment reminds me of, I don't know if it was like an LSV stream or an article, but he was talking about how if it was specific to Vintage Cube, and he was talking about how if he knew that his opponent had exactly one can we play Cecil too? He was talking about how if he knew his opponent had exactly one Ancestral Recall in their deck, and the Ancestral Recall was the only card that cost 1 mana value, he would not board in his Mental Misstep if he had a Mental Misstep to board in Vintage Cube. Where like the downside of just drawing it after your opponent has cast their Ancestor Recall and you have a dead card in your deck is not worth the upside of stopping the Ancestor Recall, which I think is a very interesting, like, sideboard strategy, deck building, blah 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 conversation. Love to draw a Street Wraith here. So just something to think about, like, and this is not exactly the same either, right? Because your ratio is pretty different. Let's not commit any more into a sweeper, by the way. Like, you're playing right now. I'm playing 2 Consigns against the 4 Solitudes, which means it's like way more likely that Consign is going to be live. But it's just the kind of thing you need to think about. Yeah, Strategic Betrayal could be better because of nuking the graveyard. Yeah. Is that the psychology thing where people are more adverse to failure than appreciate success? You could look at it that way, but I mean, it's also like just there's just a really big downside of, like, I have drawn my mental misstep. I've drawn my mental misstep after my opponent drew their Ancestor Recall. I just have a blank piece of cardboard in my deck. It's like this I think it's also a strategy thing, but it's possible that there's some psychology involved as well. Okay, that's a great draw. It's a great draw too. Do I have I guess I don't have Delirium. Can I get Delirium? Looks like I can't very easily. I could discard. Yeah, I guess I played nothing so that I have the ability to discard my non-Stubborn Denial cards and Stubborn Denial. Gory Iridia is on the docket. I want to play the Mardu list next. I really want to get to Gory Iridia today so that we can have the our best challenge deck ready to go. Whatever we feel like that ends up being. I think we let that go. It's kind of close. Moto cards seem to always overperform. Does Poison the Waters have any potential? I would say it certainly has potential, but I don't think either mode is super good. It, like, the -1/-1 is just like -2/-2 is so much better than -1/-1. It kills Guide of Souls, it kills a Johnny, it kills monk tokens that are equipped. So it's like, yeah, I guess I'm just not a believer. Stub isn't online, so we just have to take any stub that does anything. So the main phase of Solitude on my Cecil. I can't escape this Nethergoyf to have a blocker to try to ultimate this Tamiyo. Let's see what we draw. Definitely going to fetch and thin here. Could cast that. What's nice about casting this is that my Goyf is going to be really small and this blocks super well. Also, everybody loves a good hardcast Street Wraith. Also doesn't die to Galvanic Discharge or Flage or Prismatic. Oh, this dies Prismatic Ending. The Graveyard of Force of Negation. And they play a Scalding Tarn, looking for a Flage. Counterspell in the graveyard, Concession incoming. Guess not. All right. There it is. So we're going to game 3. Let's click submit. Also, I guess I also want to push back on this comment. Modal cards seem to always overperform. I don't even think that that's true. I think that that's maybe more true in Limited than in Constructed. But there are not very many playable modal cards in Modern. It's like K command, K command. Flame of a Norm. Commands, like that's what I'm saying. There are very few playable commands in Modern. And it's really kind of like there's Flame of Adora's honorary command. Wear Tear? Wear Tear's one. Bigger Poison, okay. I mean, there's some, but like, I don't know. I just don't know that for me, these cards are typically good, if that makes sense. I would say that they are sometimes good, which is maybe annoyingly nitpicky. If I stub and then they play Teferi, it's pretty annoying, but I think with me just not having Ferocious and my opponent also being on a mulligan. Oh no, they kept 7. Oh, they pitched the Solitude. I guess that's a mulligan. Yeah, like obviously K command is nuts, but K command is like just such an accept. Like K command could literally just be make spawns, scry draw, and it would still be nuts. It's like K command is just it's like so unbelievably unbalanced and pushed. It's such an annoying card. So I probably want to save the Trespasser for a Flage. Scared of overcommitting, so I'll just play this. Do we need to do anything? I think we pass back again. Do I think EI is better than stock up? Depends. Like, stock up is better in a deck like this, and EI is better in a deck like Prowess. Will you try Sephiroth or Traveling Kokobo? We have played Sephiroth. We will play more Sephiroth. I don't know about Traveling Kokobo. We had the other Kokobo. So I think my opponent's going to hardcast a Solitude here. Maybe not. Was not expecting the end of turn Shadow Solitude. So I'm gonna exile my Cecil and put my Shadow to 2. Then I probably block. Although I could maybe not block and then have this be 5 power again. I think that makes sense, so I'm not as weak to Wrath the Skies, although they would Wrath the Skies main phase 1. Okay, they do nothing, which is acceptable. That's a good draw. A second Solitude would be really bad, but they should have already played it. Seems like they have one at this point. Oh, they have a Galvanic Discharge. So this grows my Goyf to 3-4, which is a pretty good number. Let me go ahead and shock. So if they don't chump block here, my Trespasser is lethal. They may have a counterspell though. So again, I do think it's just very important to try to save the Trespasser for the turn after they play a Flage. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Tamiyo, which gets counterspelled. So maybe at this point, yeah, I actually really like that I can beat another counterspell if I play this. So if they have the Flage, they have the Flage next turn. But and they did not play the other another counterspell. That would have been really nice. Maybe I'm overcommitted. Maybe this gets the job done. We'll see. All right. 8x Stubborn Denial, I guess. I guess do that game? I guess do that game. All right. Thank you, opponent, for the content. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Gonna mulligan this. Cecil's looking pretty good. You know, we can. It is kind of sad we're talking about Death Shadow too much, but this card has seemed great. Again, I do kind of think that because we're a Thoughtseize Street Wraith Stubborn Denial deck, that it makes some sense to play Death Shadow alongside him. But this General Shell seems pretty nice. I really, really so badly want to go turn 1 Tamiyo double Street Wraith, flip it. Is Tamiyo still legal in Legacy? Is Tamiyo Brainstorm nuts? Did you miss the Rydia deck? You missed the first Rydia deck. We played that 2 days ago. And then you have not missed Rydia Gorios yet. I'm gonna really try to get to that today. Sorry, my camera is broken on this scene. I'm just gonna hold this up till my opponent keeps a hand. Have they considered Hullbreaker Horror in VV to combo off? Yeah, I guess I don't know how that works. I will say that a lot of the card suggestions for VV have seemed like awful. But Hullbreaker Horror is not a playable mono card. Was Necro a thought for the shell? Necro and Goyf are pretty bad together. You usually don't play those two cards together. Cecil looks good. I thought it might be good with Flip Sorin as another way to let him flip one turn. Yeah, maybe I could see that. Again, I'm just going to wait for my opponent to keep their hand before I turn the hand hider off. There was also Lightning plus Flip Sorin is kind of interesting too. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I think I'm putting back Snare. I would probably mulligan this on 7. Maybe I'll keep this on 7 on the draw, but on 6 we definitely have to keep. We're up against Titan probably. Let me see what I'm drawing and what they're drawing. I'm drawing a Marsh Flats. That's good news. They're drawing a Crumbling Vestige. Seems like I want to lead on Cecil, who's my favorite soccer player. I know not that much about soccer, unfortunately. I really only follow the NBA, where my favorite player is Victor Wembanyama. Soccer is getting like a little bit bigger in the States. I know it's like pretty big in some parts of the country. But I still have not ever gotten into it. Okay. Attack with Cecil. Yeah, I saw the video of Wimby at the monastery. I kind of wish people would just leave him alone, but at the same time, that's my goat. What did we lose to? We lost to Boros this league. Fastest Titan player. He's just hosting the World Cup next year. That's cool. I don't know. I don't think I'll be getting into it. Like, just the games seem like they seem so long. It's low scoring. I like how high scoring basketball is. I like how fast it is. But I know a lot. Obviously a lot of people like soccer. Thoughts on LeBron versus MJ? I'm too new of an NBA fan to like really chime in, but I think LeBron is cool, and it's kind of crazy how long he's been so dominant in the league. But like I don't like to be a internet NBA debate pervert. All right, okay, they've got 3 cards left in their hand, 5 mana right now. Did you get upset when Luka was traded? Yeah, like Esther had gotten me tickets for the Lakers Mavs game before Luka was traded, so I could see LeBron and Luka play, and I still got to see them play, but he was just on the other side. It was really sad. I have 2 of the Luka shirts though that say "Thank you for everything" in Slovenian from that game, which is pretty cool. I'm definitely really interested to see like what healthy Anthony Davis, healthy Kyrie, and Cooper look like together. All right, so they've cast Escape Shifts. They only have 2 lands in play, so it kind of seems like they're going to go for Lotus Field to cast a Titan. Maybe bounce land Lotus Field. I tested Matoya. We played Matoya yesterday. Matoya looked good. Matoya looked very, very good the first 2 matches. I think Anthony Davis is an oxymoron. Yeah, it seems like that might be the case. My argument against scoring being a factor is the amount of scoring that happens in basketball makes each basket less impactful important, whereas every goal in soccer is massively important. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Okay, so they're casting a Summoner's Pact. They're getting a Primeval Titan. Summoner's Pact with just Spelunking in play, so they have to go like Crumbling Vestige, Haste Land, 2 green sources, and then they just have a Titan in play. They could have gotten Analyst. If they had gotten Analyst, they would get back 2 Lotus Fields and 4 other lands. They could have sacked the other lands, and then they could have basically done nothing. Question for NBA fans: what keeps the game exciting for like the first 45 minutes? I don't know. I think it's just cool to watch the players play and to like, I don't know. It's just the action is fun to watch. So them getting a bounce land here is weird, right? Oh, right. They just keep the bounce land, of course. And then they had another Grazer. So they have no cards in their hand. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the analyst line would have done anything. I really wish I had one more card in my hand and I could just block with the frog. Did I mulligan? I did mulligan. My bad. Cecil has Death Touch, which is cool. Great gameplay. Great gameplay. They get a Saga and they get a Simic Growth Chamber, so they're going to bounce the Hanowar Battlements, I guess. So we leave, see that we attack. We're going to discard 2 cards to get through a single Arboreal Grazer. And maybe discarding the Thoughtseize is better. We can still discard that in a second if we want. I might want to Thoughtseize next turn. I guess probably not. Not sure why I put in play Graze that turn. Yeah, well, it was so that they could bounce the Hanowar Battlements and have the Saga token, the Saga in play this turn, right? So presumably my opponent's going to attack with the Titan. They're going to deal me 3 damage. They're going to get 2 more copies of Urza Saga, make 1 Saga token this turn, and then 3 more next turn. Cecil would have flipped untapped if it attacked. We did attack with Cecil. Oh, if it attacked here. Yeah, but we want the... I guess we don't need the Death Touch, huh? Because we have the 3/4. So kind of interesting. Might have been fine to attack there. We also could have played it backup Cecil too. Lifelink could be pretty important against all these constructs that seem like they're going to come down. Land drop, Lotus Field, copy land, makes another token, but they don't care. Land drop, Lotus Field, copy land, makes another token, but they don't care. Well, I feel like they could just get 2 Sagas, which also makes... Like, why is that better than 2 Sagas? Isn't Flip Cecil, Death Shadow kind of a Nombo, or does Life Gain not matter? I mean, it matters, but like I think you could just play in a way that it doesn't matter as much. It does matter some, for sure. They just get the Otawara, right? Well, I think we lose. I did have 3 Harbingers at one point. Now we only have 2. Maybe that's a mistake. Sudden Edict is really bad if they have Grazer. It can it's kind of the only thing that kills Titan. I think it's going to be better than having access to Fatal Push for the most part. I also want the first copy of Break the Ice. I think that card is usually pretty good against them. Snare can be quite good. Stub is pretty good. I mean, Snare just for Analyst is kind of like... I mean, it hits Explore too, but waiting to like snare the Analyst like can be great. Yeah, Consign can also be good. We've kind of talked that to death to some extent. I think I'm going to cut my Tamiyos. I do think that this deck is a way better Consign deck than what we're usually doing. So I think I'm going to be pretty heavy on Consign here. They're off Rumble nowadays, right? I think most people are. Some people do still play Rumble though. Snare seems kind of bad. Well, they have 4 Explorers, and their really common scape shift line is they scape shift for like Lotus Fields, Bounce Lands, T West, and then they pact for Analyst and they go off with Analyst. But if you just snare the Analyst, it's like... So like I think that's like good enough to play 2 snares, right? Maybe that's not the case. They usually side out scape and counter matchups. That's fair. That's fair. Could play 4th Consign over 2nd Snare. Could play like 1st Tamiyo. My opponent has used about 11 minutes. I've used about 1 minute 16 seconds. We'll see. We'll see if we can win game 3 on time. I'm going to see about getting some extra caffeine because I really, really want to get to the second Rydia deck today. So I'm going to get some extra caffeine. All right. What about Bloodchief? Bloodchief is like 4 mana sorcery speed killed Titan. Surely cannot be where we want to be, right? Not where I want to be. Oh, sorry. I forgot to update the deck command this whole league. Okay, graveyard, Sudden Edict, draw the other Sudden Edict. Mirapool, Lotus Field, Amulet of Vigor in the graveyard. Totally okay with a block here. Let's maybe not discard any of these cards yet. Alright, let's lead on a Thoughtseize and we'll know if we want a Sudden Edict or break the ice. Or hold up Consign, I guess. The hand seems pretty weak to this break the ice. I want to leave that Scape Shift in the hand. Probably. I think I take Titan. Sounds horrible. No Kaito. No, Kaito sounds horrible. Kaito was really, really bad in our first league. I had played against it a bunch, and I didn't think it was that good. And then there are a lot of players say Kaito's so strong, Kaito's so good, and I felt like this was a good place to try Kaito for the first time. Some people felt that that Kaito just specifically wasn't good in this deck. I kind of think Kaito is just not a very good modern card, and it's just the kind of card that people trick themselves into playing. But I'm not sure. Okay, sorry about the Mox Field. Should be up to date now. Another Thoughtseize is nice. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and take one of the packs. We can take the other one next turn. Well, I guess we could just take the other pack now and hold up mana. Kaito is better in Legacy than in Modern. I believe that. Although it doesn't, at the moment, it doesn't feel like a super high bar to clear. Kaito might be the rare case of a card that's good in Standard, good in Legacy, skips over Modern Pioneer, which is kind of odd. Yeah, I can't really think of any other examples of that category of cards. It's wild that you dislike Kaito so much. Dingo loves Kaito. He ran Scoriolis with 2/1. Yeah, I mean, I am trying to understand. I could be wrong. This was my first experience with the card. Maybe like the deck, you know, was 2/2 with Kaito and is now 3/1 without it. Although we still did lose to Boros this league. But it's like Kaito's so bad against Boros and Prowess, and I don't think it's particularly good against the combo decks. So it mostly seems like it is a card that's fine against like black-white control and the Dimir mirror, which is not a range of decks I'm interested in being very good against. Doesn't matter. Kind of funny where it is. Well, it does matter. We do have 4 shadows in the deck. Funny enough. So I don't know. And this is there's maybe something I don't understand, but I definitely don't understand. Yeah, like Kaito being very good against black-white is like, is that even important? Could be important. It doesn't feel important at the moment. Do you think the Black Wizard tokens could make a Storm-like deck? Not a Storm-like deck, no. Like no chance. But there's been a lot of people saying that the blue equipment that makes a wizard and the wizard gets counters, and then whatever its equipped gets countered, that card is good. People are saying that card is good. I kind of believe it. There's even some cool overlapping synergies with like Agatha's Soul Cauldron there. I didn't include it in my YouTube video because I felt that the existence of Corey's Steel Cutter would basically make that card not something you could really consider playing. What about Last Ride over Shadow? I mean, you could play one Last Ride in this deck, maybe two, but not over Death Shadow. Like, Shadow's a Last Ride that you don't have to crew. And although there are some advantages to crewing. Yeah, you could maybe do 3-1. But I don't think it's going to be a big difference. Doesn't the blue equip let you keep reanimating with Emperor Bones? Doesn't the blue equip let you keep reanimating with Emperor Bones? That's an interesting thought. I don't know if that's like super important because like one thing that I've had to learn, and you know maybe this just should have been obvious, but one thing about equipping over and over with Emperor or reanimating over and over with Emperor of Bones is it kind of doesn't matter that you do that. It kind of doesn't matter that you do that because you still can only exile one thing with Emperor of Bones a turn. So it's not like you can just dump a ton of stuff into play. You know what I mean? Maybe the blue equipment is good in the theoretical Cloudblade deck. Yeah, maybe. Cloudblade seems really nice. One thing I really like about Buster Sword Cloud in a blue-white deck is your ability to put the Buster Sword in Cloud, hit your opponent, and then cast Solitude or Lorien Revealed for 0 mana. Like that dynamic sounds pretty cool to me. I do think you kind of have to be Jeskai. So, because like I can't imagine not playing Corey Steelcutter, but I'm gonna look at it. Maybe it'd be really cool if just blue white ends up being better. But yeah, the fact that Buster Sword gives that extra point of power lets you cast the Lorien Revealed in Solitude, which to me seems like that could be something. Could also cast Time Warp. Don't know if that's as much of something. Yeah, amazing gameplay here. Boy, this sure is every single game against Titan ever. So, I mean, what do we care about with Summoner's Pact here? Aftermath Analyst is dead. This kind of feels like it's just bait for the Scapeshift we know is in their hand. They cannot cast a Titan this turn. They're dead otherwise. I don't care about 6, so I think this resolves. They get the Wandering Minstrel. Okay. How many towns you got? So I guess they're going to cast the Scapeshift. And we go to game 3. Not yet, I guess. I mean, they have the Summoner's Pact triggers, so they are dead. Well, they're not dead this turn, but they, like, how can they win? Famous last words, I guess. We could be nice and consign a trigger for them. To be fair, it's kind of boring to play against Ophidian counters. Well, I think Ophidian encounters is less boring than sit and do nothing for like 2 minutes at least every single turn. I don't know if this Ophidia, like Psychic Frog decks, I think are the most fun decks in Modern to play against for me, compared to every other top deck in the format. Compared to Boros, Eldrazi, Prowess, and Titan, I would play against Frog every single round. Okay, well, we have a Harbinger. We're on the draw with Surveil and a Wraith, so I think we should keep this. Will my opponent start playing much faster this game? All right, we are on a 1-lander. We need to find land for Harbinger, so I'm going to prioritize surveilling instead of casting a spell here. If they have another amulet, I need to consign it. So 2 cards left in their hand after this. Cecil coming down, I guess. We have played Dragonfire Blade Fervent Champ. It was pretty good. More impressive than I thought it would be. So I could hold up a stub that is unlikely to counter anything. I think I played the Shadow. Oh my gosh, sorry. I thought I was at 12. If they cast the Titan, we're dead, but obviously should not have cast the Shadow. I thought we were at 12. Seems like they don't have it. See what their top card is. It's a Lotus Field. So Lotus Field means that stub doesn't stop green sun for Titan, which is kind of narrow. Yeah, Threshold Online. This could like weirdly be relevant for... Oh, sorry, we already had a creature for Goyf. Never mind. Well, they didn't cast a Titan last turn, and they drew a land this turn, so it seems like they have literally nothing, which is about all we can beat. This time we want to hold up the Edict and the stub. We draw a fetch land, we win, or we have lethal, rather. Non-land, obviously. Or in any other non-surveil land lets me cast this Harbinger. They replay the Dryad Arbor. So I think I hold up the Edict. Shadow shrinks. Does matter. The Snare could be good also if they have another Scape Shift, then we can maybe counter the Pact for Analyst if they go for that line. Yeah, you can have the front and the back side of Cecil and play at the same time. They have different names. Right, fetch land. Tension. They can play the Minstrel. Maybe the Grazer. We know one of their cards in hand is a Lotus Field. I think I will need the Edict now. Alright, so the hand right now is just the Lotus Field. I feel like I'm going to draw my Surveil land. So I draw another Shadow, which is obviously bad here, but we will just send in with both, force the chump block, play another Cecil, play another Goyf, and see if they top deck. Love that my opponent's playing much faster this game. That's great. Great. All right, 3-2 that league. Let's play some Mardu. King of Rebellion with the 1 year. Thank you. Welcome back. Any of the sets coming out looking forward to? Spider-Man, Space, Laureate, Warwind? I mean, I didn't know. I don't know what Space is, but